Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be discussing what causes cracks. There's round cracks, there's straight cracks, and yes, there's even horizontal cracks. And if you have a crack like this in your house, you're probably wondering, should I be worried? So stay tuned and let's find out. First up, we have round cracks. This is typically caused from two reasons. One, something banging into the wall or the ceiling to kind of puncture a hole. But number two, just a breakdown in the materials. The materials become weak over time, or the material that was originally used was not mixed properly. So you can see this is very easy to repair. Remove the weakened stuff, put in some compound, let it dry, sand it down, and paint over it. Completely unnoticeable now. That takes us to straight cracks now. I drew this up for you guys. Two pieces of sheetrock with the line right down the middle. That's called a joint. You can see right here, I point right to it, right there. So when you have two pieces of sheetrock, there's a space in the middle, it's called a joint. You have to put compound and tape over it, and these can be used on walls and ceilings. And as time goes on, gravity pulls on it, vibrations within the house, these joints can break down. And in the following clip, I have a perfect example of that, and it's no big deal. You just remove the weakened material, you put in some compound, let it dry, sand it down, paint over it, and it turns out looking excellent. Watch how easy this is. And finally, we have cracks that move horizontally, just like this. Now, sometimes horizontal cracks can be correlated with foundation issues or foundational settling, but not always. But I drew this up for you guys to explain that. You can see this house here, the bottom left part of this house, it's sitting on an area that's a little bit softer, and over time, it's gonna wanna sink down into that area. And as that happens, the house is going to start absorbing pressures it originally wasn't meant to absorb. And it's going to start rearing its head in the form of horizontal cracks. But just because you have horizontal cracks doesn't always mean you have foundation issues. But this is just a little tidbit of info for you guys. But before we go down that path, let's review what we've learned so far. We've covered several different types of cracks and what their causes are. First up, weakened materials. Next up, weakened joints. That's a photo from a wall. Also, we have weakened joints. That's a photo from a ceiling. And then last but not least, horizontal cracks or cracks that may be indicative that you have a foundational issue. Now, out of all of these cracks, I'm going to take a guess which one of these cracks caught your eye the most. That's right, it's going to be horizontal cracks or cracks that may be indicative of a foundation issue. So I used to own a house that was built in 1890. I had a couple cracks like this, the floors were unlevel. I had a couple other issues popping up where I felt compelled to reach out to a foundation expert. This guy came through, he was excellent. I learned a whole bunch of stuff from him. We developed a plan and we moved forward with it. We got all these issues fixed. It was a lot less frightening than I originally thought it was going to be. So if you feel like you have an issue, reach out to somebody who's qualified to actually do the work. Videos like this are just informative, and I'm just trying to share some information from one homeowner to another. And before we wrap this video up, let's go over a few more clues that might indicate some sort of foundational settling. First things first, grab a level and grab a ball. Place the level on the ground. If your floors are level, the ball won't roll. So now I took the table that this level was on and I made it not level. If your floors are not level, the ball will roll. And these last few right here, these are typically things that you're going to find during the home inspection phase. These problems don't pop up overnight. Your windows are going to stick and your doors aren't going to latch. And you can see with those arrows there, they just tilt a little bit, making it very difficult for the windows to slide up and down and for the doors to properly close. This is a great article. I'm going to leave the description, the link in the description below, so feel free to check that out. The final point I want to make in this video is that most cracks you come across are not ominous whatsoever. Most are very cheap and easy to fix. I have a video on my channel called Crack and Imperfection Repairs. Feel free to check that out. There's a lot of good info in there on how I repair cracks and I get walls and ceilings looking brand new again. And with that being said, I thank you so much for tuning into this video. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below. And if you could just like this video and even subscribe to the channel, it would help me out very much. I have a lot of great videos in the pipeline, a lot of good stuff to help out homeowners. So with that being said, I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.